And one thing that I like clients or want clients to understand is that pain doesn't always equal injury or damage. So I want them to get away from the old school mentality that pain is like a security system. And so what I mean by that is, if this mountain represented how much you can handle before you experience pain, that means that when you got to the top of the mountain, you experience an injury. Something bad happened. A tear, an injury, a break, something bad that requires rehab or some fixing. And so looking at it like a security system, that means, let's say you're playing tennis for the first time in a year and you took a 2-hour lesson, even though you haven't played in a while. And when you start experiencing shoulder pain, you got to the danger zone and you injured yourself, which is why you felt pain. That's kind of like a security system. The security system goes off when what? When does that go off? When something bad happens? Will a security system go out or go off if someone's thinking about breaking into the house? I wish, but it doesn't. It goes off when something bad already happened. And that is people's mentality around pain. Those are their beliefs. Those were my beliefs in the past. And that's what people are conditioned to think. But we've gotten better about this. So I want people to understand that pain is a protective mechanism and it doesn't just show up when something bad happened. And so I want them to realize that there are other times that you will experience pain when you don't have an injury. So I ask them, like, when you have the flu or COVID or any type of sickness, do you feel pain? Is your back injured? Is your whole body injured because of this pain? Or is your pain trying to change your behavior because it's trying to protect you? Not always telling you that you are injured. There are other reasons why you'll experience pain. And I want people to understand that pain, or mechanism of pain, is more like a smoke detector. So what that looks like is you are playing tennis for the first time in a year and you take a 2-hour lesson. However, because you're like a smoke detector or a pain mechanism, your body is really, really smart and it creates a buffer, which means that before you get to the bad part, like the actual injury, your body usually starts to produce pain before there's anything to worry about. So if you hit that buffer zone, like playing tennis for the first time in a year for 2 hours, and you start to experience pain, your body was really smart because it's telling you that you're almost hitting your limit. And so that's one thing that I want clients to understand, is that pain usually happens before there's anything to worry about. Unless, of course, there's some trauma and you fall or you hit and you hear a loud pop or snap. And yes, of course, you jump straight to an injury there. But the things that people are dealing with in chronic pain, those are usually not the situations. So I want people to understand this buffer zone. I want them to understand that they can flirt with pain a little bit. I also want them to understand the whole picture, because pain, oh, it's only because of my shoulder. Oh, pain, only because of my back. It's my disc. I want people to realize that pain is influenced by many factors. I want them to build the self-awareness of, oh yeah, when I drink every night and my kid's going crazy and I hike on the weekends and I'm ruminating at night and I travel and I watch TV at night and I'm not walking, I get flare-ups. I want people to build the self-awareness enough to understand that other life factors influence their flare-ups. I don't want them to just think bones and tissues. I want them to realize that this buffer, their pain mechanism, is not just influence of how much their body is capable physically. I want them to know that many factors influence pain. I want them to know that their beliefs around pain and past experiences impact how much they feel, how much they move, their fitness levels, cardio health, their sleep. When I present this information to my clients, I want them to feel hopeful. Like, oh, wow, I never thought of working through this stuff when it comes to my pain. I thought I just had to keep going to a chiropractor and continue to get my disc put back into place. So I want people to open their minds to a new way of thinking. I want them to also know that their body is very adaptable. I want them to know that because of everything that they've experienced and all the stuff that they've gone through, that their body can create that buffer and make it bigger and make it more sensitive, which means little activity can flare them up. And I want them to realize that just because they can't tolerate something today on day one doesn't mean that they can't tolerate and train themselves to tolerate later. I want them to realize that they can create a mountain and make it bigger. And so that to me is re-educating the client when it comes to pain.